Hi guys! So recently we have been in Genesis chapter 32, and I've just been posting short clips about some of the verses. Mainly, I believe it was verses 28 through 30. And today we're gonna be in Jacob again, and this is a little bit before Genesis chapter 32. So we are going to be in Genesis chapter 28, verses 20 and 21. I'll be reading out of the KJV. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. So if you've been following, well, you don't even really have to follow, but in I almost said in Jacob chapter 32. In Genesis chapter 32, it's the story about how Jacob wrestles this man, but before the wrestling, he sends his family and his servants out before him with presents and gifts that are supposed to go to his brother because he wanted to calm his brother down from being angry with him. So earlier, much earlier in Genesis, Jacob had deceived his brother out of his birthright. He had stolen his blessing, and then he ran off and lived his life as happily as he could. And with that, his brother was so upset with him that he wanted to kill him. But now Jacob is coming back to his hometown and he says this prayer. I'm going to read it again. And Jacob vowed a vow, saying, If God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me bread to eat and raiment to put on, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then shall the Lord be my God. What if Jacob going through the wrestling in chapter 32, a few chapters after what we just read, what if it was that wrestling that when Jacob overcame it, that's when he got the peace? What if it took the wrestling in order to get the peace? I just want y'all to think about that because I was in chapter 32 at first and I was getting some good messages, and then I went back to 28 and then I was like, hold up. Was the wrestling supposed to be the answer to the prayer? Because once he wrestled with that man and got his hip dislocated, he was probably like, I can take anything on now. My brother ain't even scary anymore. But think about that.